father wants to make sure he has leadership qualities in him. So we still need clarity about where he's trying to lead this relationship as it's budding.
So what do you want to ask us about Jamala?
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Bird 91. We're talking to you guys about Ready to Love, but we're dealing with this topic of Jamala needs to control because there's been some unprotection in a particular area. When I say need to control, what I mean by that is in a sense of the way that she's kind of pushed and engineered the situation with Randall. I'm not saying Randall hasn't been a part of this, by all means. But Randall's been very passive as well. And the way that Jamala has wanted to try and force the narrative to get him to commit tells me something as well. And I'm going to tell you what that is in the following of this, in the next few minutes of this video. If you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification. It uploads if you want to hear more great stuff as well and more content when it arrives. And listen, if you're returning, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals, you got the minerals. They are traded because the streets out there are hot. All right, let's get into this video. Talking about Jamala and obviously talking about Randall. My thing here is this. I really think that Jamala was pushing, and I said it from the beginning of the season, Jamala was pushing for Randall. And Randall was happy to be pushed. He was happy for her to put wind in his sails, but he was never going to commit. I said that from the very beginning of the season. Now, the thing here with Jamala, I'll deal with Jamala, then I'll do Randall separately. The reason why Jamala has been in a space of control with Randall is, one, because he's so laid back. Two, because she wants him and she likes him, that's fair. And number three, also because I always believe that people tend to overexert themselves in areas where they felt they've been unprotected, unloved, uncared for, didn't get what they actually wanted, had desires unmet. And then it tends to rear its ugly head in adulthood. And we have to learn how to deal with those things. When Jamala was doing the whole olive juice situation, and I said, this is too much. When she was kissing him, I said, it's too much. I said, listen, because he's not feeling it. He's not leading this procession. She's leading it, right? When she got angry in the house and was like, you tickled her scrotum. I was like, tickle her scrotum? Like, come on now, baby. What you mean? Like, we didn't see none of that, right? So, importantly, what I'm seeing is somebody who's consistently pushing harder for a relationship than the other person's pushing because there's a need to be wanted, to be desired, and to be loved. And that means that there's oftentimes a lack of that in one's childhood, right? Because we're grown now. So oftentimes what happens is that person lacked what they actually wanted. Not that the parents were bad, because every parent is a human at the end of the day, but rather the sense of they wanted something or desired something and didn't really get it oftentimes. Not always, not always. And so what happens is they overexert themselves in their adulthood when they're dealing with love. The need and want to be validated and desired and wanted becomes so strong, you lack the self-discipline to be able to pull back a little bit and say, hey, let me just monitor how I'm moving here. And I think we saw that with Jamala when it comes to Randall's situation. I'm not saying Randall wasn't a part of this. I'm not saying Randall didn't add to the equation and didn't add to the interest. But what I am saying is that Randall was pursued more than Randall pursuing her, it seems. And so it got to a point where obviously her energy then shifted, where she felt that, where it shifted from being about I like you to almost being obsessive type of liking. And it became that way because he became more passive. Her need to want to possess him in that moment in order to keep herself safe and protect herself from feeling like she's being rejected or being left or being abandoned or being not wanted or whatever, then began to take hold in the interaction between her and obviously Randall. Now, of course, Randall, I think further we can even see that in terms of when the sister was questioning Randall, right? Or when the mom said, we heard about the incident at the getaway. There weren't no incident at the getaway. The incident was with Jamala. Jamala was the one who was moving mad that day. It was Jamala that was doing out of pocket that day. It was Jamala who was doing the most because she felt threatened by the other presence of another lady. Now, of course, don't get it twisted. We'd all feel some type of way, but it's the action that you're doing. She decided then to come and impede on the process and get involved when she saw Kayla in the room. And pretend as if, I'm just grabbing my hat. No, you weren't. You were interrupted. You were trying to cause disruption. Okay? You were trying to cause disruption. And because you were trying to cause disruption, what happened in a sense now is that Randall felt his process was impeded and that you were stepping on his toes. You're doing that because you like him, but because also there's a lack of ability to be able to control how you're feeling in that moment, and it's you're over exercising how your feelings are making you act. It's a shame, because Randall, we know clearly wasn't clearly Randall was more passive and was failing to make a decision and was trying to ride it out to the end. Process. But there should have been a clear indication about who he wanted. You're going to find out. There was a bit of madness in this situation, right? But I think he felt trapped by her. I think he felt controlled by her. I think he felt enclosed and imprisoned by her liking of him. And it's very difficult. Do you know what's so interesting? The other day, I was out and about at an event, and the music was on, and this girl was doing too much. She kept on trying to press up on me, and I just felt rude. I felt rude to kind of push her off, so I kind of just stood there, but I didn't do anything. I was like, I should have told her, listen, babe, I'm sorry, I'm just not interested in dancing with you. Like, it's cool, but I didn't want to say that because I didn't want to be rude. I didn't want to hurt her feelings. Remember I told you about this. I know where Randall coming from. I didn't want to hurt her feelings. But in doing so, I mean, luckily it didn't hurt her feelings. Well, I don't know. Maybe I did. But in doing so, by standing there, I could have hurt her feelings even more than just saying, look, hey, I'm not really interested, right? And being polite about it. So now that feeling of not trying to hurt somebody makes me indecisive in that moment and makes me not clear cut. And what I felt like was that Randall was feeling like Randall felt like he wanted to separate from Jamala. I think he probably did, right? But instead of doing that, because he wanted to hurt nobody's feelings, and because her feelings are so strong, he took on her feelings. That's why I'm talking about having good boundaries and exercising those boundaries effectively. Because you end up taking other people else's needs, wants, emotions, whatever, as your own, when really you've got your own, and you're not feeling that way. Right? You're not feeling that way. All right. So, I just feel like with Randall and Jamala, the situation, I think their meeting of the parents situation really highlighted one or two things. He said already that she doesn't need to control everything. The need to control means there's a lack of control somewhere else that you didn't have. And Jamala goes for what she wants. What she wants, she goes for it. But the truth of the matter is that the brother didn't want you the same way. But that's his indecisiveness, and that's coming from not wanting to hurt somebody. But also Jamala's control is coming from a place of wanting to have control and dominance. And it's interesting. I wonder if she picked that up from her dad in that sense as well. Because I love the fact that I liked it. I wasn't even bothered by it per se. The sister's also the exact same way as Jamala is. But also the dad sent a note with the mother for questions to ask. And I said, and I'm not saying the dad's controlling, by the way. I'm saying the dad still has control even in that moment that he's asking those questions. And the mum was very receptive to bring out the questions he wanted to ask. And so I wonder if some of his attitudes and his dynamic with the mother has rubbed off on Jamala in some sense. And that there's a need control. I keep telling you, sometimes kids learn and pick up things in their nurture. And whether she's maybe picked that up and then taking that forward into relationships as well. Another day for another story for another day. Like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you guys.